Hi, welcome back. Today I want to talk about, let's check my list, regaining focus as a software engineer. This is a really big one, and before we get started, I almost forgot. Need to set a quick timer. Let's not go past 45 minutes. We did a really great job last time, stayed within 30 minutes, but so regaining focus as a software engineer. I believe that what I've been experiencing lately is a lot more success, mainly because I have, corrected some like really not so great habits I've acquired over the years. When you become a seasoned engineer and then, you get handed this cool toy, AI or anything, it can be really difficult to keep the same level of performance you used to have. And so some things I've been doing in order to correct that the last like few months, maybe 4 months, has been just like really simple things. Like I don't look at my phone. And I'm sure you've like looked at other productivity, people out there. But like I don't look at my phone when I wake up. First thing I do when I wake up is I take 10 minutes in silence. I walk over to the living room, just nice and calmly, grab a cup of water. Then I sit down on the couch and I just kind of either close my eyes or I stare at the wall and just, be silent. And sometimes I'm just purely silent. Other times I'm actually thinking about like my goals because I have several like projects, things like that. But that's one of the things that's really helped me. And the reason why is because when I spend less time on my phone, and actually the fact that I just don't even like have my phone around, it just allows me to just have a really clear mind when I go and sit down and just start working. And so let me make sure I stay on topic and don't rant too much. So the things I wanted to cover here is some of the techniques I've used the last 4 months to like really, really improve and gain back my software engineering prowess I used to have. So the things that have helped me out lately, timer, like I'm doing everything with my timer. It's super helpful. I don't touch my phone except for alerts and calendars. 10 to 15 minutes of silence. I plan my day really early on. So what I used to do is I would spend the previous night planning my day. But now I have sort of a new ritual that I've been refining where Sunday night I plan out the entire week. And I kind of like have the headspace. There sometimes it's uncontrollable. There are new things that will come up. But having a good sense of what I want to accomplish throughout the week really makes it easy for me to just kind of, get right to work like when I start. Because the last thing you want is to be like overwhelmed in the moment. And I think that having a good vision for how you want things to happen by the end of the week, or by a certain point in the week. For me, it's Thursday or Wednesday. It gives me a much like needed feeling of like relief. So I know one thing that would hold me back quite a bit is just like being really, really, anxious and worried about, what I need to get done in that moment. In the past, that wasn't the case. I started really refining like my ability to just kind of like work on things really quickly. But I think now, as a senior, sometimes you're kind of expected to just like, I don't know, either know things or be able to perform at a high level. And so these techniques have really been helping me stay on top of that. The other thing that I brought up was I want to be specific about my planning. And so Sunday, I mentioned I plan the whole week. And I plan it from a sense of these are the major outcomes I'm looking for in all of my different projects. And I consider work one of my projects. I almost treat my job, my employer, as like a contract, something that is really, obviously it's important, but I never these days try to change the level of importance versus any of the other things I'm working on. I try to keep them all pretty much the same. So basically that's my Sunday is my time to do that. It's also my time to reflect back on the previous week. Because at the moment I'm doing a thing where I don't take days off basically on pretty much any of my stuff. Like I keep it light for like work, but everything is work for me though, not just my employer, all of my different things I'm doing. I'm running, like I'm spinning up an agency. I am, writing a book and stuff like that, editing a book. I am sort of CTO for a project, so on and so forth. So basically, that's how I structure my week. And I'll go into specifics in another video. But now there's that planning. That's the week planning that I do. And then there's the daily planning I do. So when I start for the day, I start work, the first thing I like to do is literally sit down and either go to the whiteboard or blackboard and jot things down, or I'll go to my notebook and jot down my bullet points of like what I want to accomplish, usually in like sort of tasks, like tasks for that day. And it's probably hard to see. And one of the things I like to do is like I'll keep my tasks on one side on one page, and then I'll keep like loose notes and architectural things that I'm like trying to keep track of, or just trying to learn or keep it in my brain. I'll keep that on the other side. But I mean, I've been doing this for like a long time, and this is like never let me down. But it's enhanced lately because now with the foresight that I have of what I want my outcomes to be, it helps me rather quickly start to come up with the outcomes that I want to have happen each day. And so this is a really good technique. And also sometimes I don't just bullet journal. I haven't read any books on bullet journaling. I made up my own thing. I create these boxes and I basically just kind of like check them off. But one thing that's really cool about this is I have like sub tasks as well. And I kind of like keep little like numbers and references to like certain tickets and things like that. It really helps out. Not to mention, like I've also created my own software to like keep track of like my own like progress on all of my stuff, whether it be work for my employer or work for side projects, companies that I built, things like that. And you just missed it, but there was probably an orbital thing that you saw there on that screen. That was basically, I have like a 3D model of my brain, and whenever I create tasks about like that are associated with a certain type of behavior, whether it be like an action or something that I'm learning or I'm planning, I associate it with a color, and I light up a bit of that part of the brain. And it's just something fun. It's like I gamified, my own like personal development to like help me with, regaining my clarity as a software engineer. It's really for anyone. It's not just for a software engineer, but I think that these core things you probably already know. I'm just probably another person telling you. And this is also just sort of a journal for me as we go along. This is my second video. I doubt anyone is even watching right now, honestly. If you're watching, say hi in the comments and, leave a like and whatnot. But, I don't suspect anyone would be here just yet. And so I'd say these are more of just like reflection time, these early videos. And I think as time goes by, I'll share more and more of like the specific techniques I'm using to regain all of these, not just regain these skills. I'm becoming even better than I was before. But I think that, and I kind of mentioned this a little bit in my last video, I think that I've been sort of triggering this, like, I'm reinvigorated. I'm reigniting the passion in my career. And it's because my career isn't just about that one employer anymore. It's about me as a software engineer and as like a professional, like more of an architect, with experience on how to get things done and how to like create things and dealing with that evolution. And I think that all software engineers basically are going to need to address this like evolution process that we're going through right now too, where maybe you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket with an employer. Not to say that you don't want to, provide really great work, because I think that it's important. I said it in my last video too. It's important to provide really, really great work, because when you perform well in one area, you just start performing well in all of the other areas as well. And so, anyway, like, I know that this is like probably a pretty short video. This is a short one. I think that's most of the things I wanted to cover today. I will leave with one more thing. So I talked about like gamifying like my progress as a software engineer, or just like as my career, my professional career. Doing things creatively will help you have more fun with this stuff, because like I think the biggest problem I had was that things were just boring. Like, after a while, after 9 years of just like making apps and stuff, sometimes things kind of get a little bit repetitious and it's just more of the same stuff, And so not only for the future of your career, but for your own sanity and also for your own evolution, start coming up with really creative ways to solve your problems. And I'll give you a specific example, like even just today. Like I'm still getting used to a specific project. Like I'm new to a project that's come through. And as you know, like when you start getting into a new project, like the code base is just humongous, right? And it can be really overwhelming. And so what I did, I don't know if this is like common out there, but I was like, how can I make it really easy for me to work on this new feature? I need to understand like the surrounding code and everything like that. So what I ended up doing is getting an LLM to help me craft an HTML document, an interactive document that explained what it thought was the surrounding code and points of interest and what the intended flow was supposed to be and how it thought I should integrate that new feature. And by doing that, it allowed me to actually plan out, how I wanted to execute on this thing. And even though I had to go and check on the results of that HTML document, by double checking the AI's work, the LLM's work, basically I was able to gain this new knowledge, and it also helped me confirm where things were. So manually I was able to go into the project and find those points of interest. And then basically I gained so much value because now I have clarity about that surrounding area. But it was funner because I created a document that was interactive and neat, and I could like check things off. And, it even helped me throughout the process of working on the feature. And so that's kind of like my only point, is just like get creative with your solutions now. Like, times are changing, and like we should evolve as well with our solutions. Back in the day, it would just be, it would only be maybe sketching things out or getting on the whiteboard, which I still do those things today. But it's still good to, do those kinds of things for, what you're working on. So sketch things out for yourself, and then maybe take a picture of those things and feed it into an LLM and, do something fun with it, so that you can really embrace the work that you're working on and just have fun with it, like it's a science project, because technically it kind of is. Like, we're supposed to be computer scientists, right? So, but yeah, no, I think I covered all I wanted to cover. And, it's helpful for me to reflect. I've been doing a lot of these things that I'm finally starting to talk about for about half a year now. And I think it would be, my goal with this is really just purely to just share information with other engineers, maybe mid-level or seniors out there even, because it's this world of like balancing your career with like your personal goals can be really challenging. And I'm trying to spread a message of like, they should all just be on the same plane. Like, I'm not saying anyone needs to quit or anything like that. It's really just treating all of your goals as the same thing. You're the business, not the individual things. And so you're just constantly investing in yourself, and it helps you produce great results everywhere instead of just like worrying about one spot. So anyway, thanks for sitting and listening to me yap. And I hope that you got something valuable out of it. I hope that there was some information, even if it's just something small, that was really helpful in this. And yeah, thanks for watching.